All right, what's up, guys? Let's check this clip out. It's a 9-minute video. All right, 9 minute. I don't even know. I can't even call that a clip. So it's a 9-minute video. So I will be react to it, while I'm watching it, not letting it run. So let's break this down.
So I think the most frustrating thing about dating for me in the past 4 years has just been the lack of control that I'm able to have over my dating life and over what happens in my dating life. Basically, I've always just been a lover girl, and I'm the type of person that likes to go after what I want, and I feel like I'm very open-minded, and I feel like I see the best in people. But I've just been having the worst luck in the past 4 years, to the point where I just feel like it's just time for the lover girl in me to die, and I'm just honestly done with dating, and I don't want to date anymore. Finally.
I've said this countless times, and I think I'm gonna continuously say this. I am big support in women like this stopping to date, because here's the thing: women like this, who, as a lie, she has full control of her dating. Now, she doesn't have control of the outcomes, but she has control of her dating, i.e., who she chooses. Full control. Who you choose, that's your control. Not what's going to happen, not the outcome. But here's the thing where, because she chooses poorly, she's become jaded, bitter, whatever. And to be honest, by her own foolish choices, has made her, in my opinion, and I believe a lot of women are like this, just not a good partner. Because here's the thing: the traumas, the the traumas and tribulations of dealing with the men that you choose has, in on average, made a lot of women just not a good partner for a potential good man. So I am a big supporter of women um, being single for the rest of their life. Because men have to also understand too, there are plenty of women. Plenty. And I mean plenty as the world. Not just in your city, in your state, in your country, the world. A lot of men gotta think about this. We are now globalized. Stop restricting yourself to just your little immediate area. So I'm in perfectly supportive. If women like this are tired of dating, stop dating. Just stop. Get out of it. Focus on your career. Yeah.
Like usually in the past after my breakups, I would be sad for like a little bit, but then I'd be kind of like ready to go back on the apps and ready to go meet new people. And there was always like a possibility of like, oh, well, there has to be like somebody else out there, right? Like there has to be somebody better out there for me. And I still always never really gave up. In the past.
Has to be someone better for you. That's the thing where, see, that's the danger. Women constantly want better. Better. Breakups happen, and on average, usually by women, because honestly, they think that there's something better. Instead of being content, being happy with what you have. No, there's always got to be something better. That's why I honestly believe, um a lot of time, this mentality, the more people you deal with, the more life experience you have, for women, this does not get better. They will constantly think there's going to be better. There's something better. Because in my opinion, men, we've been there. We've done it. Yes, I'm not saying men never thought about this. Oh, there's got to be better. There's got to be better. But what men find out, in my opinion, is that through time, through experience, they see that, you know what? It's not about better. It's about, you know what? I rather find purpose in more than just a person. I will I want to find a person that I can be happy with, that I can be content with, that will be good for me, that would be kind to me, that would love me, respect me. I don't need to worry about better, because honestly, comparison is the thief of joy. Like, oh, this got to be better. Comparing this man to that man, he's got to be better. There's got to be better out there. No, stop that. Because men know that being in the dating scene, it sucks. I don't need to. I don't need to have better, because then you are constantly wondering. The grass is always greener. Stop that. Stop that shit. Be happy with what you got. You chose these men. You chose these partner. You should try to make it work, because you. I mean, like, you obviously love them, or obviously, found a reason to be with them, wanting to take the relationship to a step of boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, Stop thinking about this better. Be happy with what you have.
For years, I've dated 3 people seriously, and all of them somehow turned out to be emotionally unavailable or avoidant. And I didn't really even know what that meant until I was like 23 and dating again after my long-term relationship. And the first person I dated afterwards ended up being emotionally unavailable slash avoidant. And we had like a regular talking stage, and then we dated officially for like a month and a half. And then suddenly they're like, oh, never mind, like, I just realized I'm not ready for a relationship. It's just so annoying because in that breakup, the ex was like, yeah, I never really wanted to get into a long-term relationship, but I did get into one with you anyway because I thought that maybe I'd get over the fact that I didn't want to be in one, but I never did. And in my head, I
Hmm. Could it be that, eh, on average, men don't? And now I'm not. Maybe she's gonna say that they left her, because it sounds like they were the ones who didn't want to be in the relationship more. Maybe it's that she's not that. The men that she chooses, for the men that she chooses, she's not that special for them. This is the thing where I kind of agree with this ideology where after the sex, it is the ball's in your court to show men that you are more valuable than just a body. You're more worth it, because here's the thing, in my opinion, for most men, if the woman that he's with, if she's amazing, like, she completes him, he's happy with her, like, he sees um no big flaws, like, then why would he want to go back to the dating scene in general? Now, there's certain men that getting women is nothing. It's easy. It's not that hard. So they don't mind because you are just a dime a dozen. Now, that could be the reasoning that those are the type of men she chooses, where she doesn't stand out. She's nothing special, because the men she chooses, well, they have plenty of options. Could be. That could be one. Or two, even for the men that don't have a whole lot of options, she is nothing special. She doesn't stand out. Maybe she's a poor lover, a poor partner. She she doesn't think about them. She doesn't think about the men, whatever. So she's not that special.
was just like, why would you willingly like put me through all this when you know that I wanted a long-term relationship and that I was serious? I was like, I will make sure to like not date an avoidant person. So I was like, hey, next time I'm gonna make sure that the person that I date is open to commitment, says they want a long-term relationship, says they want marriage, says they want a family. I'm gonna make sure that they put in effort and like pursue me. Next year, I dated somebody who was in his 30s. He was like 32, I believe. And right off the bat, he was like, yep, I'm looking for something serious. I want a family. I want marriage one day. And so things started off like serious between us. Met all the married friends, like talked about moving in with him temporarily. Treated me very well, was like romantic, was like very thoughtful and caring, was very supportive. Even when I told my friends like what he would do for me or like how he's treating me, they'd be like, oh my god, like he must really like you, he must be head over heels for you. It got to the point where it was time to commit to the relationship and to put a label on it, and he just couldn't do it because he said titles made him uncomfortable. I felt so misled that this person didn't really want to put a label on things after all of that had.
In all honesty, in my opinion, now I don't know what the type of man she's going for, but in general, men will know the value in the women he's with if he sees the value. So if he doesn't want to be committed to you, he doesn't see the value in you. I think she should. This is the thing. This is maybe a problem where I'm seeing it more and more with women. They overestimate their own value. Getting with certain types of men that wouldn't value them what they think, how they see themselves. And so hypothetically, where we see like, let's say we see the women in the Kendra G shows. You know, I have plenty of those. These women, baby mamas, older, chubby, chunky, average looking, wanting 6-figure men, over 6 foot men, tall, dark, handsome, muscular, um, monogamous, top tier men are rare men. But in essence, you don't qualify for these men. Now, if these men give you the time of day, these men will definitely not commit to you. They will want to use you, have sex with you, but they won't commit to you because honestly, they see no value in committing to you. And that, I think that's happening with a lot of women.
Transpired, and I was like heartbroken again, but I was like, okay, like how can I prevent this situation from happening in the future? And I was like, okay, next time, on top of wanting somebody who is serious and wants commitment, I'm going to make sure that that person also has a history of long-term relationships, has some sort of like emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, has some sort of conflict resolution skills, like, is comfortable committing to the label of boyfriend and girlfriend, is not going to put that off for any reason. But yeah, when I got to New York, I was going on dates and I was finding guys that were like more open and seemed more like emotionally available. I had to end things with like 3 guys because they all had just broken up with their ex, and I was like, what are you even doing on this app? Like, I can't talk to people like you. Like, I don't want another emotionally unavailable man. And I was just like, okay, maybe the dating apps are just really full of avoidant or emotionally unavailable people. So I'm gonna go meet somebody in real life. So then on a fateful day, I went to Central Park and I hit on a guy by asking him for a poop bag. And I went on a date with this guy and I was like, fine, but I could also tell from my past experiences that he was probably avoidant. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna swerve this guy too, because I truly in my heart only want to date somebody who's emotionally available. And then a few months, I hit on somebody in a cafe and everything suddenly like started to go really well. I felt like I vetted this person so hard. I got their relationship history and found out that they had been in a really long-term relationship. I found out that they were like in therapy and had been in couples counseling, and that they really valued emotional intelligence and conflict resolution in a partner. So I was like, okay, if he really wants somebody who has good conflict resolution skills and he really values somebody who is emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature, then he must have those qualities himself, because it's kind of crazy to expect for a partner to have those things but not have them yourself, right? I was like, there's no way somebody would be like that, right? I was wrong. But this person was like so consistent in their words and actions, treated me so well, better than anyone had in my entire life. I thought he was the one. Even the way he looked at me like with heart eyes, and literally like all my friends and people on the internet were like, oh my god, like he's in love with you, like he's head over heels for you, he's obsessed with you, just based on the way he looks at you and based on all the things he does for you. And I met all his married friends and like we talked about a future and it was all reciprocal and it felt so great, only to find out that this person was also emotionally unavailable at the very end. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like after this last time, that was my final straw. I spent so much time.
You know, this is something that women can never realize. Maybe the problem is you. This is the thing, okay? When your whole ideology, emotionally avoidant, not emotionally intelligent, okay? When you date, hypothetically, 10, 20 men that fit that criteria, then they're emotionally avoidant, they're not emotionally intelligent. When you date, choose, accept, even go after a whole bunch of men, and every single man you date, every single man you choose, meet that criteria, I think the problem is you. This is the thing where a lot of women don't realize that they are the problem. They are the root of their problem. Here's the thing where a lot of men have the problem being blunt with women. They do. They will lie to women. They will fudge the truth. They won't even say shit because, to be honest, they don't want to hurt the woman. But to be honest, I think it goes back to she doesn't bring a whole lot of value because I I can't imagine. I can't imagine that men will if she was like absolute oh this woman is my dream. She's absolutely amazing. She's absolutely I can't imagine a day without her. Then next day, you know what? I don't want to be with her. I, I can't really imagine that. That don't make logical sense to me. Now, what does make logical sense to me is that men are saying that you know what I love her. I want to see. I want to be with her. I'm like, but you know what? That love haze is fading, especially after we had sex already. She's really annoying. She's selfish. She doesn't think about anyone else but herself. She's the center of her world, which is that's how it is. She she constantly think every man she dates is emotionally unintelligent, emotionally avoidant. Never her fault. No accountability. You know what? This love haze that I have for this woman, I'm slowly waking up from it. She seems like more of a red flag than I thought. I'm seeing more red flags clearly now than I did before. So you know what? I think she's not that great. I see that scenario more.
I'm specifically trying to avoid avoidant men and avoid emotionally unavailable men. And the only reason that I even was attracted to this person in the first place is because they seemed so emotionally open. They were able to be so vulnerable. They were able to have so many in-depth like conversations. And I felt like our emotional connection was so good. And they committed to the label very easily and acted very sure, and their words and actions aligned. And like the way they looked at me and like all the things they did for me, I was like, surely this person is emotionally available.
Please listen. Me. It's about her. How she feels. It's what makes her secure. What will make her happy. What does she want? What does the man want? I again, this is what I because you gotta pick because to be honest, this is why these women do need therapy, but therapy is not good for them because honestly, in my opinion, they do need uh mental help. But to be honest, the mental help that we have in current society is just pandering. So because they can't, no one's blunt to them. Straight up, the problem is you. All you think about is you, me. How does it make you feel? How does it make me feel? How does it make me feel? What do I want? Blah 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 blah. You hear nothing about how do you make him feel? Did you make him feel like he wants you? Did you make him feel like amazing? Truly? Or was he just lying that you know what? You you give him a build a bear. He was so happy about that. And that's the thing where to be honest, women like this who thinks that they're so emotionally intelligent are very emotionally foolish. So because they only think about their own emotions, not of how the man feels, not how he's treated. So in essence, he probably wasn't happy being with her. Past the haze, right? Because again, dating is shitty for men. That's why it's hard for me to believe that all these men just don't want to be with you, just just out of nowhere. Because dating is shitty for men in general. Now I don't like I said I don't know what types of men these are, but in general, average men dating is shitty. So the only reason why these men didn't want to continue these relationships with you is that it's not a good idea to. It's they're not happy to be in a relationship with you.
You can ask them, are you looking for a relationship? Like, do you feel like you're ready for a relationship? And they can say yes, but then, either they lie or they just are so not self-aware that they
Or they don't want to be one with you. That's the thing. I mean, they may lie about being with you. Don't mean they're lying about they don't want to be in a long-term relationship. Just they're probably lying that they want to be one with you.
don't even realize that they aren't ready for a relationship and they don't want one. So then they just drag you.
See, that's the thing where no accountability, no actual self-reflection. That answer, I mean, I stopped before, so who knows? Hopefully she would have said, "Oh, maybe they don't want to be with me," but no. Take away. See, this is where take away accountability. It's not her. She's not the problem. She's not the problem. They are. All these men that I supposedly date, I supposedly chose, they're the problem. These dozens and plenty of men. But I'm not the problem. I mean, like, even I'm not even dating her, and I probably wouldn't want to. So, can you be surprised that these men that are actually in relationship with her would want to continue it?
Through this whole thing only for you to find out at the very end that they're actually emotionally unavailable. I feel like I've been so tricked and misled, and I've just been used as a stepping stone for all these men to discover things about themselves and discover that they're emotionally unavailable and discover the things they need to work on to be a better partner and a better relationship. They're always like, oh my god, I learned so many things, I don't regret the time we had together. And in my head, I'm just like, well, I do regret the time we had together, and I don't feel like I benefited that much. I feel like the only result that I got from these relationships is I just got more trauma, and I got more trust issues, and I got
Exactly what I said, right? And at the very beginning, more trauma, more trust issues. This is the problem. This is the problem. She should, and who knows if she slept with these men, but I assume she did. This is a problem where you don't vet men properly. You shouldn't. I mean, let's say this: if she did sleep with them, she should have already established a relationship before she slept with them. But they don't. If she did, my rule is that honestly, after the third date, you should already establish boyfriend and girlfriend status. In my opinion, after the third date, you should already establish boyfriend and girlfriend status. But women are not that strict. Women don't vet men that well. So really, they're wasting their time. Now they gain trauma, trust issues, walls for potentially the good man to deal with. Then he will see, no, I don't want to deal with all your traumas, all these walls I have to break down, because I've been there. I've been there thinking that, you know what, I will be this woman's knight in shining armor. To realize that that's shitty. That's a shitty thing. Because you chose to date men that will traumatize you, that will make you build these walls. Now I have to take up the responsibility of breaking down your walls, of dealing with your trauma. And what do I get in the results? Is that you are hard to be with. It is hard to break down your walls. So even as a good man, what I believe, what I feel, that I'm a good man, but to each their own. Now I have to deal with breaking down these walls, proving myself to you, because you dealt with shitty men. Now I have the extra baggage of trying to do overtime, whatever, to prove myself to you. No, it's not worth it.
more anxiety. How am I supposed to go on and date somebody else when, like, I don't even feel like I can trust words, actions, the way someone looks at you? Can't trust anything, because some people will just like switch on you in just a second, and it's like, okay, like, I couldn't have predicted this, I couldn't have seen it coming, everything was right, there were so many green flags, and then suddenly it was over just like that. What the heck could I even have done to prevent this situation other than just, like, I don't know, not trusting the person, or not
By sticking with standards, having boundaries, sticking with them, vetting men properly. That's why I said, don't waste your time. I would tell my daughter, 3 dates, and if he's not your boyfriend, move on. Move on. Talk to him. And I don't mean 3 days like first Saturday, next week, the week after, boom. No. It's that you're talking to the person, maybe one, like before the first date, 1 month maybe, date, maybe talk to them a little bit more before the second date. And the third date, you should know that you know what? I want to you ask the right questions, get to know them well. Maybe third date, meet some friends, meet whatever. It's like date with purpose.
Not investing in the person, and it's like if you don't really invest in somebody that much for the first like couple months or so until you get into like a major conflict or something, it's like, are you even like really fully enjoying that experience if you're kind of like having one foot out the door at all times? I don't know if that's like really authentic to me, but I guess that's the only thing I could have done in this situation, is to just not get invested and not really trust like the words or actions that were happening. It doesn't matter how hard I vet, like what I do. It doesn't matter how hard I try. If somebody wants to deceive me, or
it's not about how hard. It's the correct way. Vet them correct way. To be honest, vet them the correct way. And here's the thing. I think more women need to also be blunt by asking the man to be blunt. Do you want to be in a relationship with me? And he's like, oh, I do. Okay, so are we in a relationship right now then? Be blunt. Ask for them to be blunt. Because if you see a relationship with me, then are we in a relationship right now then? He's like, no, I mean, maybe down the road. So then that means you see a relationship down the road with me? No, that's not how it's going to work. Because if you see me right now, okay, what about me that you don't see that you want to, what about you want to learn? This is the thing where, to be honest, be a detective. Be very strict. It's like date with purpose. Don't waste your time. Stop wasting your time. Okay? It's like, oh, we've been talking for 2-3 months. We went on like 2-3 dates. I mean, what else do you need to see? If you see commitment, okay, then are we committed? Like, oh no, I mean, maybe then no, I don't need to. The wishy-washy, we're done. Let's move on. Also, just don't include sex all early on. And again, treat it fair. And this is the thing where if you're not giving him sex, you're both equally pay for half of the date, unless he wants to, right? Say that that's up to him. You willingly will split. You willingly will do low investment dates. Coffee dates. You should be the first one. All right. Second one, you should split that date. Split the cost of that date because there's no sex until relationship. Vet them properly.
or if somebody is so not self-aware that they don't recognize that they're emotionally unavailable, they are going to deceive me, and I'm not going to be able to do anything about that unless I actively decide to not really trust them and not trust their words or their actions until a certain point, which I don't even know when that would happen, because I've read so many stories online about people being blindsided by avoidance after like 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years in marriage. What the heck is the...
If you are blindsided after 10 years, it's because you're stupid. You are ignorant. You ignored it. You didn't. This is the thing. To be honest, another key thing is that a lot of women ignore red flags. A lot of women want the man to change. They see that supposedly of emotionally unavoidant already, but they hope he changes. Stop dating men. Stop getting in a relationship. Stop being with men that you want to change.
The point of even dating and like falling in love and loving somebody, if that love has no security and if that love is not consistent, if someone can just change their mind in 1 second and like walk away so easily, like what's the point in even investing and trying for a love? Like, I don't want a love that switches off after like a conflict, or that just changes after I ask for a need to be met or after I set a boundary. Like, I don't want a love like that. Like, that love is not like valuable to me. I feel absolutely helpless. Like, with this last relationship, like, I was so attracted to the fact that he seemed emotionally available. But if he had just acted like his real self the whole time, I would have never dated him. I feel like the only way for me to be in a relationship and
This is the thing. Where I'm not saying that. These are my deductions. These are my, my breakdown. Is that not like he's acting like his real self? Is that he wasn't being honest with you, in the sense that what I'm assuming is that you're selfish, you're narcissistic. It's always about you. You don't really actually make him all that happy. Because again, if she was making him happy, if he was enjoying his time with her, actually enjoying his time with her, there's really no reason why men would leave a woman that he enjoys to be with.
like not get hurt in this day and age is for me to enter relationships not really investing that much and just kind of always having an exit plan and like a strategy to leave and like have one foot out the door and just be like anticipating. It's just like, what the hell is the point of entering a relationship if you can't even like trust the other person, and if there's no sense of security, and if you have one foot out the door at all times? Like, what the hell is the point of that? But it's starting to seem like that's the only mindset I could possibly have, so that I don't get hurt, or so I don't get bamboozled by these men that act emotionally available for the first couple months and then suddenly become emotionally unavailable after like a second. Whether I pursue somebody or whether they don't pursue me, it doesn't matter. The result is the same. Whether I meet somebody on a dating app or I don't.
This is something that I wish women understand. Things don't happen in a void. Things don't happen at a turn of a dime. It doesn't. There's a reasoning. Now, I wish men would be more blunt. It's you. I mean, like you don't. You're selfish. You only think about yourself. You do nothing for me. You don't care about me. You haven't shown that you care about me. It's tedious. It's tiring to be around you. You only nag. Whatever the reasoning. I wish men would be more blunt. I really do. Because women seem to not be able to get it. They seem to not be aggressive. Why is he one way and then all of a sudden different? There's a reasoning. Not because he was lying, which maybe he was kind of lying because he's not being blunt. He's not being honest why he changed. But to be honest, it's not like he was lying the whole time. It's that he wasn't being, well, maybe, oh man, I'm thinking about it. Okay, maybe in a sense he was lying, but it's more of the reasons that, you know what, he was lying to himself, I think, I would say. Because he was hoping, and like I said, maybe men do it too, where they hope the women would change, like, or they hope that the women themselves would see the flaws or the fault in themselves, instead of men being blunt about it. You're nagging, you're hateful, you don't care about me, shit like that.
The result is the same. Whether their words and actions align or they don't, it's the same. Whether they enter a relationship with me or not, the result is the same. I try to be authentic and vulnerable so that I can have the chance to fall in love, because I just feel like if you have one foot out the door, you just are not really opening yourself up. I just don't even really want to date anymore because I'm just tired of getting my heart stomped on, tired of them blaming me for their emotional unavailability and not taking any accountability for their actions. Like, I know people are like, oh, it's just a phase you're going through because you're healing, but I genuinely just feel completely traumatized by this past breakup. I feel like the only person I can depend on in this world is myself. A man can be in therapy, a man could have gone to couples counseling, but that doesn't actually mean that he's self-aware, and it doesn't mean he has any relationship skills. And
The irony, because you completely lack self-awareness. Absolute irony.
finally, just for once in my life, don't even want a relationship anymore. I don't even want to get married. I don't want to have a companion. I'd rather just be happy and depend on myself and know that I'm never going to betray me, and know that I'm never going to do anything to hurt me. Last experience, like, I just don't even know how to trust anymore. And frankly, I don't really want advice because every single piece of advice I've ever been given about dating, I've already done. A lot of advice is actually quite useless because I feel like a lot of dating is just up to luck, because I just feel like even if you try your hardest to like not make mistakes or do this or that or do everything right, it doesn't matter because there's always going to be somebody else in the equation. And I just wonder if anyone else out there has also gotten to that point. So I think the most
I mean, fine. If you don't want to listen to advice, you don't want to listen to advice. You think you heard it all. Okay, cool. That's why I perfectly in support of women just staying single. You know, be by yourself because the traumatized self of yours, it's not healthy for it to be with anybody. So, what do you guys think?